let me start with this with you. What do you think? You've got a whole range of experience across different organizations, different folks in HR. What do you think leaders most fundamentally misunderstand about engagement, employee engagement?
Well, I think it's simple. I think they misunderstand in a lot of ways how easy it can be. I think a lot of people, when it comes to engagement, they overengineer it. They think that it's something that you need to spend $300,000 on a big project to just, rehaul the whole thing. If indeed they even get that far to think it is a critical piece to a strategic puzzle to get results. So maybe that's an issue too.
Sure.
But I'm a believer when I have seen things implemented at work, usually it's something that it's small steps, and it usually starts within kind of the team environment itself. Sure. So although I think you're going to get a lot more momentum if you have all of your C-suite in it, and it is a focused, intentional strategy, don't get me wrong there, but I do think the over-engineering of it gets away from the fundamental thing that most engagement happens, I believe, between whoever the leader is and the employee with stuff like this.
Right. That
doesn't need a big strategy overhaul.
Right.
What it does need is some accountability for that manager to do it.
Sure.
So I think that is one big thing that they do wrong. I could probably list many others, but
it's interesting. The over-engineering is, I think, an interesting. It's an interesting point that's come up a couple of times in conversations that we're overcomplicating something that is as simple as like sit down and make some connection and build some trust, and then
Absolutely.
From there we can sort some things out.
Yes. I mean, instead of overcomplicating it, let's just start with a small step. In my opinion, there's also a great deficit in actually when you're doing maybe a leadership training course, or you have your upward course, your emerging leaders course. The first thing, and I did this in one of the organizations that I worked for, you shouldn't start with what are the legalities of HR and what's recruiting 101, and you start with building trust. Right. That should be the very first course of any kind of leadership training, period, because that's something, or even if it's just a lot of times you'll onboard a new leader who maybe has 20 years of experience in it. That is still going to be a relevant practice to say, we're going to start by building a trust-based organization, and let me talk to you and teach you about what that means. From there on, everything else is going to be, that's the foundation. It's going to be pieces to the puzzle, because that is going to help you shift the organization, connect with customers, understand how you recruit people, understand how you advocate for them and coach them and even fire them. But it starts with the trust piece. And so I think that that's an important thing that a lot of people overlook.
Sure.
When it comes to that. They look at it as something we'll deal with later, or they don't think about it at all. And you know me, I can just go, yep. But one of the things that I will say though is I was a manager for a long time. I was in executive management. I've been an employee. I've been on both sides of it. I will say that I think the vast majority of leaders, C-suite, middle management, key holder if you're in retail, they want people to be engaged.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, anytime I've talked to them, it's not like you have to convince them that this is a better way to practice. They want to.
Right.
They just don't know how.
Right.
They don't know how because they're so overwhelmed.
Well, they're overwhelmed, and they've worked for bad managers in their life, right? So they don't have role models either.
Right.
So pull back, think about, I'd love to hear, like, when you think back throughout your career across the different organizations, what was the most effective, most money kind of engagement improvement strategy or process or effort that you went with? Like, give us a nugget that maybe somebody can be inspired by. Okay,
I'm going to look right in the camera. This sounds simple. It was making sure people were having regular cadenced one-on-one conversations with their team. It didn't have to be every day, it didn't have to be every week, but there had to be a regular cadence, you like that right here, listen to me managers, a regular cadence where you were spending one-on-one time with the employee, team member, whatever, to talk about not just here are the things I'm seeing, but really talk about what value did you think you brought to the organization? things did you do where you think you worked within your strengths? Of course, that's right from the Buckingham group. I can't take credit for that. What can I do to help you? Where you've built that trust to where then they are going to want to bring that feedback to you, as opposed to you spending some time, once a month with, oh, there's a crisis, you've done something wrong, let me talk you through it. Even though I'm advocating for you, I still love you, but you did a lot of things wrong. So to me, that's been, and it's simple and it's free. When I have worked with clients as well, doing some different trainings, and these were for a large, like utility groups, one was for a tech company, it was still amazing to me how many of the leaders who were good leaders, when I asked them, when's the last time you had a one-on-one conversation with your employee? I mean, they literally they'd look down and they were like, I know I should. And some would say, but they know if I don't reach out to them, they're doing great. And then I'm like, no, they don't. They don't. So anyway. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, last question.
Okay.
I'm handing you a magic wand. You can use that magic wand to eradicate one management practice or approach or mindset or whatever, something in management. You can eradicate it out of existence starting right now. What do you pick?
Let me think. I picked that. One of the things that is literally a pet peeve to me, and I don't think there's any excuse for it, and I've done it myself as a manager, not modeling the behavior you make others do. Not modeling the behavior. Kind of thinking, they know that I believe in what I'm saying. But that board meeting got moved up a day. I just can't have that one-on-one with you. Or, hey, I know that I'm making you do some things regarding diversity and inclusion, and I know and I know I can't do that thing that I need you to do because of X, Y, Z. Or flat out just not believing in the values that you created. I mean, let's take it to a lot higher level. A CEO or C-suite who said, these are the things that we really believe, and do hold other people to account for it, but they don't do it themselves. That is something to me that's unacceptable. And because the thing that a CEO or a C-suite or any leader that's visible at all, everybody knows when they don't do it. Everybody sees them. So that would be the thing. That'd be the thing. So it's not like eradicate performance management or something cool like that. It's just model the behavior.
Boom. Don Burke on fire. Bam. Awesome.
Okay, that was great.
Thank you.
It was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I hope.